Get a great deal on Yahoo. Microsoft crowdsources HoloLens apps and smart devices. Are they really for dummies? Tech News Tonight is next.
This is Twit.
This is Tech News Tonight, episode 478 for Wednesday, December 2nd, 2015. This episode is brought to you by Epson's new EcoTank printers. With Epson's line of SuperTank all-in-one printers, you can print thousands of documents without running out of ink. EcoTank is loaded and ready to print when you are. Visit epson.com/ecotank to find out more. Welcome. I am Megan Maroney. Let's get to the tech news. Now, how much would you pay for Yahoo's core internet business? That is the big question on the minds of quite a few media and telecom giants as Yahoo considers selling its search and internet advertising business to the highest bidder. The Wall Street Journal reports on the list of possible buyers, including Verizon Communications, SoftBank, they're the owners of Sprint, Barry Diller's IAC, which includes About.com, Ask.com, as well as Match.com, Tinder, and College Humor. Private equity firm TPG Capital has also shown interest. Sources say that News Corp and Time Inc. might want to buy certain parts of Yahoo's business. Yahoo's board is discussing options in a series of meetings starting today and continuing through Friday. Recode's Kara Swisher reports that these are not hair-on-fire meetings and that the impending doom of CEO Marissa Mayer has been greatly exaggerated, but that the company will also be discussing the troubled Alibaba spinoff. If you have done any shopping online for popular gadget gifts lately, you've probably seen a bit of a trend. If you're looking for something that a lot of other people are buying, you can waste time shopping around, or you can just go to Amazon. Chances are good that whatever the item is priced elsewhere, Amazon is going to sell it for about $10 less. That is one way the online retailer giant managed to dominate sales over the Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S. TechCrunch says Amazon sales accounted for 35.7% in e-commerce spending on November 27th. Best Buy came in second place with 8.2% of total online revenue. Macy's took 3.38%, and Walmart weighed in at 3.35%. Thank you to Captain Kipper for posting this story on the Tech News Today subreddit. I always check that subreddit, so get in there and post stories or upvote the stories that you want to hear. Speaking of surveys about online shopping, Aaron from North Dakota wrote to comment on my story from last night about online shopping. Aaron says, your brief discussion on this year's Black Friday online versus brick and mortar survey on TN2 was interesting, but a slight misrepresentation of the NRF survey you quoted. The survey, according to the NRF report, has a margin of error that makes the actual results a wash. It's a small detail, but something important to keep in mind about polls and surveys. Thank you, Aaron. The VTech story keeps getting worse, and we keep reporting it because, frankly, VTech deserves it for not protecting customer data. Today, Forbes says that independent security researchers have cracked open VTech's InnoTab Max tablet for kids and found that it was absurdly easy to hack. What's worse, VTech has known about this vulnerability for 2 years, and they have done nothing about it. In fact, the company is refusing to answer questions about whether they even have a security team at all. Would you like to use Microsoft's new augmented reality goggles to transport yourself right here to the Twit studios in beautiful downtown Petaluma in order to interact with us without all that pesky travel getting here? You might want to submit that idea to Microsoft. Microsoft Studios is crowdsourcing for the next killer augmented reality app for the forthcoming HoloLens. The company is currently accepting ideas, and they will make the most popular one a reality. If it is your idea, you will participate in weekly build reviews, Q&A sessions, and more. Go to HoloLens.com/share your idea to share your idea or to vote up other great ideas. Coming up, we will tell you about the dumbest smart devices that you might really need. But first, this episode is brought to you by Epson. Epson's revolutionary EcoTank line of printers for home and office introduce a new age in printing. The new EcoTank ET4550 wireless all-in-one printer doesn't use ink cartridges. Instead, it features an innovative refillable ink tank. Comes with enough ink to print up to 8,500 pages, equivalent to about 50 ink cartridge sets. You're loaded and ready to print for up to 2 years. Powered by Epson's leading-edge precision core technology, it delivers high-speed, vivid colors and laser-quality black text, plus auto two-sided printing, a 30-page auto document feeder, and easy wireless printing from tablets and smartphones. All EcoTank printers deliver an unbeatable combination of convenience and value. with ultra low cost replacement ink bottles. Now you have the freedom to print without running out of ink. Visit Epson.com/ecotank today to transform the way your home, your office, or your work group prints. For the best combination of ease and value, turn to the new Epson EcoTank printers. That's epson.com/ecotank. And we thank Epson for their support. Do we need Bluetooth diapers? How about Wi-Fi connected yoga mats? Our guest today has been diligently researching some of the most bizarrely useless products to come out of the Internet of Things. Welcome, Mike Murphy, technology reporter at Quartz.
Hey, Megan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
So what inspired you to come up with this motley collection of internet-connected stuff?
Well, it's actually something I've been thinking about for a while. I don't know, I had this idea a while ago when I was on a plane and I was kind of reading Sky Mall, and I remember it was like going under, and I was like, well, where are we going to turn for all of our like weird stuff in the future? And I kind of realized it's like kind of like Kickstarter these days, and everything on Kickstarter seems to be some kind of internet-connected something or other. And I kind of started looking at it. I'm like, nobody really needs any of this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of like really good internet connected stuff out there, but like there's some really weird ideas for stuff that I really don't need that kind of information on. So I kind of started looking into it, and I found like there's definitely enough for a story in here. So I've been working on it for a little while.
So instead of Sky Mall in the future, we'll either go to Kickstarter or directly to you.
Yeah, maybe I can cut out media can cut out the middleman and say, don't get these weird things or get these good things.
So one of the biggest ones is the Bluetooth toothbrush. I think that's the thing that everyone says, like, why do we need our toothbrush? I mean, for me, unless it's notifying the tooth fairy when my teeth fall out, it is useless to me. So you looked at one called Beam. What does it do?
So, I mean, like, it's got a few things that might be of use. Like, it automatically will send you more toothbrush heads every 3 months or however long you're supposed to go getting a new toothbrush. So I can kind of see that, but like it also acts like basically like a Fitbit for brushing your teeth. And it's like, I don't need that much information about my toothbrushing habits. I feel like I already get enough of that when I go to the dentist that I couldn't possibly deal with that anxiety every day.
Well, yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I just read about something that will notify you if your running shoes have expired, because you're supposed to only run a certain amount of miles or run 3 months with them or something, which I guess is useful. But when it comes down to it, it's really just designed so you buy more stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that about shoes. I've been using the same pair for 2 years, and I seem to be doing absolutely fine. Thankfully, I change my toothbrush more often than that, though.
Well, I've never seen you walk around, so I can only believe that that's true. But you're supposed to, if you run a lot, you're supposed to change out your running shoes for your feet and your ankles and such. So just so you know. So speaking of moving around a lot, you also found a wearable for a horse. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this is from a French company whose name I'll probably butcher, so I'm not even going to try. That basically, again, it's like a Fitbit for your horse. And this seemed to be like a weird thing throughout my research, is basically putting Fitbit style things and stuff that I really don't need any information on. Like, I don't know, even if you're like on a equestrian team or something, like how much information do you actually need while you're riding? It just seems like I can kind of get like like those run tracking apps, like you want to know where you went and you could want that on a horse, but I don't know why you would need a horse specific one or need to know like exactly how many miles an hour your horse was going if you're just a casual horse rider. And then like, how many casual horse riders are there that are like really big into like buying internet connected devices? It seems like a very small market.
Well, I think casual or otherwise horse riders have one thing in common, which is usually a lot of money to spend on things. So maybe that's why they came up with this, because they know someone will buy it. So here's an interesting other one that you talked about, the Defender pepper spray, internet connected pepper spray. I think this sounds useful. It takes a photo of the assailant when you use it and calls the police. What's this one called?
It's called the Defender. And yeah, I was kind of on the fence about whether this was ridiculously unnecessary to be connected to the internet or really useful. I feel like you could be in a situation where having a camera and being able to go like, look, this is the guy there, this is the person that was attacking me could be really great to have like evidence. But at the same time, it's like out of all the things on my person that I need to be internet connected, does my weapon that I'm carrying really need to be one of them? I don't know. It just seemed like an odd thing to have thought of. But yeah, again, it could prove very useful.
Well, I would get this, I think, if I, lived in a dangerous place. What are some of the other crazy devices that you've seen that you can talk about on a family-friendly show?
Yeah, there were some very interesting ones that I won't talk about, but they're going to be in the article. But I think some of the other odd ones that were out there, there's a company that's working on an internet-connected diaper bag, which I really don't understand the point of. I mean, it's literally like got a sensor in it, so it'll tell you how much stuff is left in your bag, like diapers and formula and whatever. But like, I don't get a situation where you couldn't just look in the bag yourself and go, "Oh, I didn't bring enough diapers. I should put some more in the bag before I leave the house."
Okay, I'm going to help you out on this one because I have had children. You're busy, you have a lot of other stuff to do, and also you're out in the world and you've forgotten, and you don't want to be in that situation. Trust me.
That's true, but like you're still going to have to remember to go into the app then. So there's still some amount of like remembering the same problem. It's just whether you're looking at your phone or like the bag.
Right. Well, if it had an Apple Watch app and notified me when I was low, that might be helpful.
That's true. This one was in very early stages. They had a Kickstarter that didn't go through. It was called Baggio, but I looked them up and they're still pursuing the project. So who knows? Maybe an Apple Watch device will be in the future.
Well, I think all of these, they might be very specific to a certain kind of need, maybe not the general need for everybody. But sometimes they're practical devices that have practical uses, but the price is really impractical for some of these devices. Stacey Higginbotham, she has a fantastic Internet of Things podcast that she does. She just wrote on Forbes about a new smart air vent from Keen. So it opens and closes whenever people are in the room or not in the room, which is great. I don't know about you, but I don't even have a very big house, but we want to conserve the heat. And so, we run around closing the vent in the rooms that we're not in. Which makes sense, but it's $80 per vent. Have you seen that a lot of these internet-connected devices are pretty expensive?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely going to be an issue, at least in the kind of near term for the ones that are actually useful. They're really expensive. I mean, if you look at the vent ones or the air conditioning units, I mean, AC units are always expensive, I guess. But like the Philips Hue light bulb or any of the like seemingly hundreds of knockoffs there are now, it would cost a ridiculous amount of money right now to outfit your entire house in Wi-Fi connected light bulbs. And it would be super cool to have that like ability to like be walking down the street and go, "Oh, I want to turn on the light in my bedroom or the back door as I'm coming into the house." That would be awesome. But if it's going to cost you like the price of rewiring your house, I mean, it's not really feasible yet. But, at the same time, with a lot of new technology, you've got the early adopters who either like super into it or have money they can spend on internet connected tchotchkes that hopefully will drive the price down for the average consumer in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not only just the price, it's the standards. Is it HomeKit? Is it Nest? Is it Wi-Fi? Is it Bluetooth? Like, it's very confusing for the average person to figure out what's going to work with what.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, there's no grand unified system right now. I mean, I know, for the most part, people know when it comes to cell phones that you're probably going to get an iOS or an Android-based device, or if you really want to push the boat out, you might get a Windows phone. But there's only a few different, options. Whereas, each one of these IoT devices is basically their own closed system, unless they're working together. Like Nest has a program where they'll work with other companies to have their stuff talk to their stuff. But there's no kind of one grand thing where someone can buy into a system right now. Kind of like you wouldn't outfit your home necessarily. You wouldn't go to like 3 different window companies to buy 3 different windows and then have to go to 3 different places to like get new parts for them. Like that would just be a super hassle unless you're like really big into Windows, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, it feels like we're kind of still at that point where we haven't figured out like, all right, we're going to do this standard for these sorts of devices, and we're going to have this sort of like, layout for how we want our homes to run. Like it's still pretty much the Wild West of the home right now.
And what about privacy issues? I mean, I struggled to see if they're real or not. I know you wrote about the Nest Cam issue that was last week. It was supposedly on even when you turned it off. But then if you really looked into it, it really wasn't recording anything. I mean, it might be on, but it wasn't as bad as kind of some of the headlines made it seem. Do you think that the internet IoT things that you've looked at, do they have glaring privacy issues, or is it just something that is a good trade-off?
Well, I've noticed for pretty much as often as I'm pitched an IoT device, I'm pitched an IoT security device. So it seems like it must be a big issue. And, it seems like every single day there's a new thing that's being hacked. I mean, there was the VTech thing earlier this week with kids' toys that are connected to the internet that are being hacked. And it does seem like a lot of traditional manufacturers, whether they were electronics manufacturers or light bulb manufacturers, they're trying to move into the 21st century, and they might have fantastic expertise in building their core products. But if they haven't got that kind of, security background or technical background, they might have put out an excellent product, but if they haven't got that same level of security that someone like the Apple or Google, a company that's been working almost exclusively in those fields for over a decade now, then it is kind of worrying, like what could potentially happen, what kinds of backdoors or what kind of like security flaws are there. I mean, it feels weird to me that I might have to update the firmware on my light bulbs before I can turn them on at some point.
Well, Mike Murphy, thank you so much for coming on. As always, this whole article will be on Quartz very soon. Mike Murphy is a technology reporter at Quartz, and he is MCWM on Twitter. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. And that is it for this edition of Tech News Tonight. Thanks to SJH Canada for commenting on my story about the Chan Zuckerberg initiative last night. In case you missed it, Priscilla Chan and her husband, Mark Zuckerberg, pledged to give away 99% of their Facebook stock, which is currently worth $45 billion. SJH Canada tweeted, just noting that Facebook stock may distribute 5 or 10 or 20 billion in dividends over the next 20 to 40 years. That's a great point. A lot of money. Something else I didn't mention last night is that the initiative is an LLC, not a nonprofit, which means they'll invest the money and have control over where it goes. If you are interested in this sort of thing, I highly recommend David Auerbach's article in Slate called Can We Trust the Hacker Philanthropists? It's all about what it means when we rely on high-tech billionaires to solve the world's worst problems. You can subscribe to this show at twit.tv/TN2. You can write to us at TN2@twit.tv. And of course, you can watch live every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't miss our morning news program, Tech News Today, every weekday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I am Megan Maroney. Thank you for watching.
Bandwidth for Tech News Tonight is brought to you by CashFly.com.